Starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. Thank you for the time and the honorable judges. Good morning. So I would like to do some rebuttals, and I have 3 points of the rebuttals from the government side. So the first one is how if they fail, the citizen failed the test, and how could you easily erase someone's right to choose or to vote in this democracy era. Number 2, how is the mechanism to make the test even running in a good place. So you didn't really explain how you held the test and how can you reach all the people from all the nation to do the test before the election. Number 3 is the government said that the test should be taken a year before. So within this period of a year, how could you be sure that a person of or the understanding of the person is changing about the political? So maybe when they took the test, they fail, and then within that 1 year actually they already educate themselves more, and then they understand more about the political election and the political knowledge. So when they didn't have those right to choose, what happened to them? And it is such a waste of a voice when you clearly say that the voice of the election should be defined by a test, and when and a certain citizen should pass the test. So move on to my arguments. Before I move on to my arguments, I would like to define what is the general political knowledge test. So it is a test to know the knowledge of the people about the overall politics. So this debate happens at a country that already independent, and most of countries right now are already independent. So I wanted to tell you the status quo right now is indeed enough. So in the status quo, we know that most countries are democratic country. They really value high the democracy value or the democracy itself. So democracy is where all the people in the country has the same right to choose or decide their own. So when we talk about the election, we are talking about many groups of people that are in charging or involving in this event. First of all, of course, there are the candidates, the people, the citizens, the government, and most important one is the citizens ourselves that has right to choose for the election. So they are the one who has the full right or authority to choose for their own, and it is not good to say that the right to choose has to be selected through a test. Even in the law, it is clearly stated that everyone has the same right, everyone has the same chance to choose whatever they want to do in life. So our stance here is clear that the political general knowledge test is not necessary for the people. Our mechanism here is to hold the election like we always do until now. Right now, we already held a lot of elections in the world, throughout the world, and that's just something that we have to keep on doing even later in the future. We are held it with a good procedure, people coming to the place and then they choose for their own, they choose their candidate, and it is what a democracy is. By continuing the procedure right now, it is enough to define and see what a democracy should look like. Our goal here is to protect the sense or value of the democracy, which is everyone has the same right, and it is not going to be decided by a certain test. Move on to my arguments. Here I have 2 arguments that I wanted to bring. The first one is the test creating certain groups or level in a society. When you wanted to hold a test, of course you are screening people and you are electing people to choose for the election, the political election. Here you mean you creating from a bigger society into the smaller one to have their own right to choose or to have their own right to vote. So here you are creating more sin and more groups of people in the society, and it is harming the value of the democracy itself, because in democracy everyone has the same right everyone has the same right to vote also. So that itself already changing and hurting the value of the democracy in the election. For example, how if people in the village, let's say a farmer, a fisherman wanted to choose, just because they don't know they don't understand the questions in the test, they didn't pass it, and they didn't have the right to choose or to vote. That is a waste of a voice, or that is a waste of the chosen. So you are erasing more people to just creating and having more the valuable, maybe you understand it as the valuable value, I don't know, but this is clearly creating more sin in the society, and it is not good for the face of the democracy. So the number one is the test is not the right parameter. Why? Because first of all, how could you measure someone's understanding or someone's right just by a paper? In political aspect, everyone's understanding and options are spatial, and it is stated in the law that it is protected by the law. So everyone has a different perspective toward the vision and the mission of the candidate. So the understanding of the citizens, the one that has the right to choose, is always different one to another. So how can you measure that into a test? And when we talk about the test, it is always about the right and the wrong, because the test is made for those of options, right or wrong. So the test couldn't be a parameter to define the political knowledge from a citizen or from a certain people or from the people. So here, based on the arguments that I have been stated right now, I would still love to say that as the opposition, I would still say that a political general knowledge test is not necessary for the citizens to pass the individual test or before they vote for the political election. Thank you.